Senate Bill 1909. I'm sure you've heard of this one. Have you heard of this one? Illinois Senate Bill 1909. I was
Yes.
I was wondering because from everything I know, you are the most pro-life candidate to run for governor in modern Illinois history, if not in Illinois history, period. I want to know if what can you explain to me about this bill and explain for the listener that doesn't necessarily know Senate Bill 1909. I've heard that through it gets rid of pregnancy resource centers and basically makes abortion factories the only way in which a woman can quote unquote get help with an unexpected pregnancy. Can you talk to us a little bit more about Senate Bill 1909?
Well, yes, it's a very vast bill, unfortunately, and it requires any medical facility receiving state funds, which every facility does, that they must perform abortions. They can no longer opt out of that. Now it's being it's being changed and modified and amended even as we speak, and will be as it moves and continues to travel. But yeah, there's a whole lot baked into this thing. If you're standing out in front of an abortion center, and silently protesting, or at least being there trying to be available for someone going in, you could be you could be fined and possibly arrested for that.
How is that
uh,
not an attack on our First Amendment rights?
well, that's what happens when we just came out of a consolidated election where
Mhm.
35% of the people in Chicago showed up, and the sad part of it was that was twice as many who showed up throughout the rest of the state to vote for our school board. So when Ben Franklin, I'll go back to that, even he said, we've given you a republic if you can keep it. And I talk to people every day. Oh, my vote just doesn't count. Well, it doesn't count if you don't show up to exercise it. But
Mhm.
this all starts back. The churches has fallen asleep, and until this giant is awoken, and I believe we still have it within us to wake up and preserve, protect life, and take it back. But it was another, as I was running for state rep and in 2018, Governor Rauner, signed taxpayer funded abortion.
Yep.
And then on Memorial Day weekend of 2019, we put into law, full term abortion, and we just continue to go down this hole of just what I believe is immorality. I was running for governor. JB Pritzker continued. He had the money, and we couldn't fight back because we didn't have the funding. And the big three, though, the cases of abortion, the life of the mother, rape, and incest. Well, the reality is that I don't really ever see when the life of the mother is at stake where that's actually an abortion. There's something went wrong and a DNC is performed. I don't even throw that in the category of an abortion. So, sure, in the life of the mother, I obviously that's a
Mhm.
no-brainer. But this thing of
Because the thing is because they always talk about ectopic pregnancies, especially after Roe is overturned
right.
last summer. They started saying, well, Republicans want to make it so that women's lives are in danger, and they always cited ectopic pregnancies. That's different from an
Right.
abortion, entirely
Right.
different from
Right.
an
You
abortion.
show me when the life of mothers is at risk, and that's considered an abortion. I want to see, and I have yet for anybody to really show me that. So
Mhm.
and then you throw in rape and incest. And the reality with all of this is that it's less than 1% of all abortions performed. So you've got 1 million abortions being performed throughout the U.S. The last recorded number in Illinois was in 2019, before abortion was codified as a medical procedure, and at that point in time, about 36,000 abortions were performed. And now that we're paying, now that we're literally inviting people, paying for their travel, paying for their expense, paying for their hotel, paying for their recovery, paying for their food. Now that we're doing that, it's believed that abortions in Illinois are probably approaching the 70,000 mark that we as taxpayers are paying for and providing. And I'm telling you, something's wrong with that. And then when you bust all that down and you realize that for instances of rape and incest, it's less than 1% of that, it really takes away the argument of what we really should be talking about.
Exactly.
A late term abortions. Many people disagree with that. Many people disagree with the fact that they should be paying for it.
Mhm.
And as Senate Bill 1909 suggests, this desire to go even deeper to a place where I feel like most voters disagree with, but no one's standing up
But
again.
nobody, because nobody's talking about it. That's what it
Right,
seems like, is
right.
nobody in our mainstream media of Illinois, like our WGN in Chicago, they're not talking about it.
No,
Our,
that's
our
exactly right.
across it's south of I-80 where you'll hear people start discussing it, but everybody, the main voter base is in Illinois, the blue city that makes us a blue state when in reality we're primarily a red state. They're the ones that are just ignorant to it, eyes
Right.
closed and ears shut. So
Right. And to that, I say, wake up, church. And that's our,
seriously,
as we continue to get invited and almost speak in a different church still today, almost every Sunday, wake up, church. And until we start getting out and mobilizing and voting and speaking up, it's days of evil, and it's going to continue to get worse. But people saw the onslaught that I went under in the governor's race, and politicians thinking, well, I don't want any of that, so I just need to be quiet and focus on something different. Well, God help us with this immorality of killing and murdering little children that have no way of defending themselves. God
absolutely. God help